My name is Ryan Keller, and I'm a Pennsylvania state trooper with over 10 years of experience patrolling those remote stretches of highway out in the middle of nowhere. My shifts usually fall at night, when roads like Route 666, known to locals as the Devil's Road from all the old folklore, turn so quiet it's downright unnerving. It was one chilling November night, with thick fog blanketing the pine forests on both sides of the road, cutting my patrol car's headlights down to just a few yards of visibility ahead. I was cruising slowly along that deserted stretch near Susquehanna County, the radio droning on with the same looped weather reports, when suddenly the dispatcher crackled through. Unit 47, this is dispatch. We've got an emergency call from a motorist reporting a serious accident at mile marker 142 on Route 666. Caller says a vehicle went off the road, with children badly injured, needs immediate assistance. The voice sounded panicked, with kids crying in the background. I keyed the MiG-10-4, dispatch. I'm about 10 minutes out, requesting medical and tow support. My heart started pounding harder. This section of road is notorious for being deadly sharp curves, dense woods, and a long history of fatal wrecks. Years back, there was a horrific crash. A family driving through fog, their car plunging into a ravine. Parents killed on impact, 2 young kids vanishing into the forest only to be found later, dead from the cold and their injuries. Folks whisper that the area is cursed, with cries echoing from deep in the woods. When I pulled up, my headlights swept across an old sedan pulled crookedly onto the shoulder. Its lights were still on, driver's door hanging wide open, engine dead silent. No signs of a crash, no shattered glass, no skid marks, no blood. I parked behind it, flipped on my flashers, and stepped out with my flashlight in hand. State police. Anyone here? I shouted, my voice echoing into the dead of night. No response. I checked the vehicle driver's seat, empty. A child's jacket tossed across the back seat. But no one inside. Keys still in the ignition, car radio hissing with nothing but white noise. That's when my radio started acting up. At first, just static, then faint whispers bleeding through help. My kids, so cold. Woman's voice, mixed with the soft sobbing of children. Dispatch, you copying this? Getting some weird interference here. Dispatch came back. Unit 47, we're not hearing anything unusual. You good? I shook it off, trying to stay focused. The crying on the radio grew clearer, kids wailing like they were begging for help. Then, all of a sudden, from the tree line along the road, I heard it for real. Actual crying drifting out from the darkness between those towering pines. I didn't hesitate. As a trooper, I had to investigate. I cranked my flashlight to full beam on, headed into the woods, following the sound. Damp earth squelched under my boots, branches scraping against my vest. The cries pulled me deeper, maybe 200 yards in. The air was biting cold, my breath coming out in thick clouds. Then I spotted a weathered wooden cross, rotting away, planted beside an unmarked grave mound. Scratched crudely into the cross, Harlan family 1987. Next to it, 2 smaller markers, nameless, with death dates matching that old crash I'd read about in the files. The crying stopped dead. I stood there, a chill crawling up my spine. No wind, but the leaves rustled like something was circling me. I turned and bolted back to my cruiser, heart hammering. When I reached the shoulder, the sedan was still there, but now the doors were shut tight, lights off. No footprints around it except mine. I radioed dispatch. Dispatch, abandoned vehicle on scene. No victims. Signs of an old 1987 crash year. Need you to double-check that emergency call. Silence for a moment. Then dispatch, voice a little shaky. Unit 47th, we ran the logs. No incoming call about an accident at mile marker 142 tonight. Records are clean. You sure you heard it right? I reviewed the dashcam footage from my cruiser. It captured everything, me pulling up, getting out, checking the sedan, then disappearing into the woods for about 15 minutes. But the part that froze my blood, when that call first came in, the camera showed me standing by the car, radio to my mouth. Talking. Alone. No transmission from dispatch. I was murmuring into dead air, responding to questions that never existed. Worse, on the video, my lips moved exactly to the words I remembered hearing from dispatch: children badly injured. Needs immediate assistance. I sped back to the barracks, trying to convince myself it was just fatigue playing tricks. The next morning, the sedan was towed to the impound registered to the Harlan family, killed in that 1987 wreck. It had been locked away in the county evidence yard ever since, gathering dust. No one knew how it ended up on the road that night or how it got there on its own. I figured that was the end of it. I switched to day shifts, steering clear of Route 666. But 2 weeks later, while reviewing the dashcam for the official report, I caught something I'd missed at the end when I came running out of the woods back to the cruiser. There was a small figure standing in the back seat of the sedan, a child, face pressed against the glass, pitch black eyes staring straight into the camera. It appeared in just one single frame, then gone. I zoomed in, analyzed it frame by frame. No glitch. And then it hit me. On my own cruiser's window, there were still faint child-sized handprints, 5 tiny fingers. I scold, like they'd been pressed from the inside. Ever since, whenever I'm on night patrol, I keep the doors locked tight. And I never answer calls that don't show up in the system. Because next time, it might not end with just a glimpse. Maybe they want me to join them. My name is Daniel Reyes, Ohio State Trooper, mostly assigned to Interstate 70, one of the longest slabs of concrete in the country, slicing straight through endless cornfields and half-forgotten little towns. The stretch between Columbus and Wheeling, West Virginia, always got under my skin after dark. Not because of wrecks or criminals, it was just too empty. Sometimes you could drive for hours without seeing another set of headlights. Nothing but your own beams sweeping across rusted billboards and trees twisted into grotesque shapes by the moonlight. It was late August, the kind of humid night that makes the air feel thick, even at 3 in the morning. I was parked in a hidden cutout on the shoulder, radar gun resting on my thigh, waiting for the drowsy or the drunk. The radio was droning some ancient country song when the radar lit up like a fire alarm. 92 and a 70th. A white silver Honda Civic blew past, taillights glowing blood red in the dark. I hit the lights, gave a quick whoop of the siren, and took off after it. The Civic braked immediately and pulled over like it had been waiting for me. I slid in behind, aimed the takedown lights straight into the rear view to kill any dash cam it might have, then stepped out with my flashlight ready. The driver was a woman in her mid-30s, brown hair tangled, eyes red and puffy like she'd been crying for miles. She wore a thin white t-shirt, knuckles bone white on the wheel. When I tapped the window, she lowered it fast, voice trembling. "I'm sorry, officer, I know I was speeding. I swear someone's been watching me." I swapped the beam across the interior. Front passenger seat empty. Back seat held nothing but a small person and a half-finished bottle of water. No passengers. "You okay, Mom? Anybody bothering you?" She shook her head hard. "No, not exactly. It's just a feeling. Ever since I left Columbus, I keep thinking someone's staring at me from the back seat. I checked the mirror 100 times and there's nothing but. I'm terrified. License and registration came back clean, Sarah Mitchell. No warrants, no priors, no smell of alcohol, pupils normal. Just pure panic. I wrote the ticket but didn't have the heart to hand it over yet. 3. On this road is no place for a woman driving alone. Tell you what, Ms. Mitchell. I'm gonna let you pull out first. I'll ride behind you all the way to the next exit. There's a rest stop with lights and cameras. You'll feel safer that way. Gratitude flooded her face. You'd really do that? Thank you so much. She started the engine. I walked back to my cruiser, killed the flashers so I wouldn't spook her further, then settled in about 50 yards back. The highway was a ghost town. Just the two of us rolling through the night. I kept glancing in my mirrors to make sure she was okay. For the first 10 minutes everything looked normal, her silhouette upright. Both hands on the wheel. Then something shifted. In the Civic's rear-view mirror, in the back seat directly behind the driver, there was a figure. Another woman. Long hair singed and brittle, skin unnaturally pale under the passing sodium lights. She sat perfectly still, head tilted just enough, staring straight into the reflection, like she was looking right at me. I blinked hard, rubbed my eyes. Still there. Clearer now. Not a shadow, not a trick of the light. A person, or something shaped like one. Doubtless, hands resting on the back of Sarah's seat. My stomach dropped. I slammed the light bar on, hit the siren full blast, and floored it. Sarah braked instantly and pulled over. I screeched in front of her. Jumped out, service weapon already drawn. Sarah, out of the car. Slow hands where I can see them. But when my spotlight flooded the Civic, I froze. The car was empty. Driver's seat empty. Backseat empty. No purse. No water bottle. Just warm indents in the leather where bodies had recently been. And a faint, sickening smell that crawled into my nose. Burnt hair, scorched meat. I yanked on the door, locked. The window was still down from when she'd talked to me. I swept the light across the roadside, no tire tracks veering off. No footprints. No escape route. The car was there, but everyone inside it had simply ceased to exist. I keyed the mic, voice cracking. Unit 19, I've lost a vehicle. White Honda Civic, Ohio plates run the registration now. A long pause on the other end. Then dispatch came back quiet and careful. Unit 19, that plate belongs to Sarah Mitchell. Age 30 for a time of death. Fatal single vehicle fire. Mile marker 218 on I-70, exactly where you're east ending 5 years ago this month. Vehicle struck the median, fully engulfed. Remains identified by dental records only. No other occupants. I stood in the middle of the interstate. Warm wind pushing that charred smell around me like it didn't want to let go. Later, when I watched the dashcam footage, it got worse. The video clearly shows me pulling over a car, talking to a woman through the open window, writing a citation, letting her go ahead of me. But from the cruiser's front camera angle, the driver's seat of the Civic is empty the entire time. No one behind the wheel. The window rolls down by itself. A voice floats out of thin air. I swear someone's been watching me. I don't work solo graveyard shifts on I-70 anymore. The old-timers say every once in a while someone pulls over a speeding white Civic around 3 and driven by a terrified woman who begs them to follow her for safety. They always do. And when they glance in their mirrors, they see the burned woman riding in the back, not to hurt anyone, just to warn them. Because Sarah Mitchell doesn't want another soul to die screaming in fire, alone. Some horrors don't chase you to drag you down. They chase you to make you slow the hell down before the road decides it's your last one. My name is Jacob Hayes, fresh out of the academy with just 6 months on the job, assigned to State Police Post 7 up in northern Michigan. My main beat is Highway 99, an old two-lane state route that hugs the shore of Lake Superior, flanked by dense pine forests and jagged gray granite. By day, It's postcard beautiful. But at night, especially in winter, it turns into a black tunnel of howling wind and waves crashing against the rocks. My first night shift, I was in the locker room listening to the old-timers scare the rookie with ghost stories. They were grinning over their black coffee when Sergeant Harlan, face like a road map of scars, leaned in and dropped his voice. Listen up, kid. On Highway 9 there's one unwritten rule: if you're out there late and see an old trooper standing on the shoulder waving you down, don't stop. Just doctor past like he isn't there. Got it. I forced a laugh. Come on. Sarge, you're messing with me, right? Harlan didn't smile. He just held my eyes for a long second and said, "It's not some evil spirit looking to hurt anybody. HES just still on the job." I brushed it off. I was young, felt invincible in the crisp uniform and the brand new cruiser. Third solo night shift. A brutal snowstorm was raging. Temps had plunged to 20 below, north wind screaming hard enough to rock the cruiser even at 50. Radio was dead quiet. No crashes, no speeders, no calls. Just the chains on my tires grinding over ice and the wipers thumping against the windshield. Around to 45. Humming into mile marker 67, that tight curve right along the lake. My headlights caught a figure standing on the right shoulder. A state trooper. He was wearing the old-style uniform, long dark green coat from the 92nds. Campaign hat pulled low, one arm raised high in the emergency stop signal. No cruiser parked nearby. No light bar flashing. Justin. Alone in the blizzard, his shadow stretching long across the snow-covered road. Instinct kicked in. You see a fellow trooper signaling, you stop. I hit the flashers, pulled over about 100 feet past him, and stepped out. "Hey, you need assistance," I shouted. But the wind swallowed my voice. He didn't answer. Just turned his head slowly toward me, then pointed with purpose toward the drop-off on the left. The black void where Lake Superior roared under a thin skin of ice. I walked closer, flashlight beam cutting through the blowing snow. That's when things felt wrong. No footprints. Not a single boot print in the fresh snow from where he stood to anywhere else. The surface wasn't touched, like HED materialized out of thin air. I glanced in my side mirror to check behind the cruiser, nothing there but falling snow and my own red highlights. A cold that had nothing to do with the weather crawled up my back. I aimed the light at his face. The brim of his hat shadowed everything above the mouth, a hard, straight line that never moved. On his chest, the nameplate read TROOPRM. SULVAN. I took a step back. "Sir, who are you? Where's your unit?" No answer. He just pointed again toward the lake, more urgent this time. Then he raised his left arm and his wrist. An old service watch. Hands frozen at exactly 2:47. I checked the dash clock. 2:47th. But the second hand was still sweeping. I spun, bolted back to the cruiser, slammed the door, and locked it. In the rear view, he was still there, motionless. I keyed the mic. Voice shaking. "Unit 47, mile marker 67 on Highway 9th. Got a trooper requesting assistance. Unknown identity. No vehicle unseen." Dispatch came back fast. "Unit 47. That sector's clear. No units operating near mile marker 67th. You sure about this?" I looked out the window. He was still standing there. I flooded him with the spotlight. In the harsh white glare, his shape faded, swallowed by the snow until there was nothing left but the storm. I drove straight back to post without stopping once. Next morning, I pulled the old files. Trooper Michael Sullivan, age 38, lost January 14, 1990 for ride at mile marker 67th. That night HED taken a call about a vehicle sliding toward the lake. He ran on foot to intercept, managed to pull the driver into Kids Clear before the car plunged through the ice with him still inside. His body was never recovered, superiors to deep, the ice to thick. He died on duty, watch stopped by the cold at exactly 2:47. After that, locals and troopers alike know the story on the worst blizzard nights. At mile marker 67, Sullivan shows up, not to scare anyone. He waves vehicles down, points toward the lake where a car might be sliding out of control before radar picks it up or human eyes spot it. One trucker swore he heeded the silent warning, slowed down at the marker, and avoided a head-on with an SUV that fishtailed across the centerline seconds later. He said he saw a trooper on the shoulder signaling him to stop, even though dispatch confirmed no units in the area. Now every winter when I patrol Highway 9, if the clock nears 2:47 and the snow starts coming down hard, I ease off the gas at mile marker 67th. I don't pull over to talk anymore. I know he doesn't need things. I just flash the light bar once, short and sharp, like greeting a fellow officer, then roll through slow. Because I get it now. Some people never clock out. They stay on shift, still in uniform, still guarding that stretch of road long after their names are carved on a headstone. And on the coldest Michigan nights, if you're driving alone on Highway 9, keep an eye out for a distant flash of blue in the storm. That won't be me. That LLB Sullivan's still working, making sure you get home safe.